So welcome back, everybody. So today I figured we would talk about some wound care and wound care products since, you know, that's happening again in this house. But first I want to give a thank you to Marta for sending me your card. It's adorable, and I loved all the stuff inside of it that you sent me, and you really do spoil me. And I also want to say thank you to Joan. I got your Christmas card with all your kitties, and I don't know where I put it, but I did get it. And before we get into all the wound care stuff, just remember to click like and subscribe, share this video, comment, help the algorithm, all that fun stuff. So as we know, you know, Mr. Selly does not have his breaks, and that has caused some wounds. So recently his newest wound actually came from his sister. Now, as cute as Gypsy is, and she's our little circus monkey, she does have murder on the mind like all the time. So she has apparently started to chase and nip Sully in the butt, so that has caused his newest wound. And that really huge wound he had recently that took forever to heal, I'm like almost 100% sure that came from her. I really think she nipped him in the butt, and that's what caused that gigantic hole in his tushy. But all his other wounds are definitely from him, from lack of breaks. So first, if your dog gets a wound, definitely clean it out with warm water and, you know, a clean soft towel. If you don't have any type of like first aid kit for your dog, or like some of the things I'm going to mention, like warm water and just a clean towel is like the best way to start off with cleaning a wound. I also suggest having a syringe of some form. This is not for you, honey. He's like, it could be. This is actually quite small of a syringe. If you can get like the bigger, thicker ones, you can just fill them up with water, and that would be an easy way to get into the wound and actually, you know, flush out any like bacteria and stuff in the wound. Good boy for sitting down or laying down. And we actually were debating putting honey on his last wound because it was so bad, and we wanted something to help seal it a little bit better because it was so deep. But some of you suggested to look for Manuka Honey and use that instead. And I didn't use regular honey on him because I was worried he was going to eat it off, which he does. And before I left for my trip, I tried to get some Manuka honey, but I couldn't find any locally. I'd have to order it online. It wasn't going to get here in time. So I went to the pet store and I found this stuff called silver honey. And I was hoping this would help heal his wound quicker. Stop. And I also took it as a sign, you know, silver honey, because silver, I used to call her silver honey. So I took it as a sign that we should buy this and try it. It was only like 20 bucks. And I can say it worked very well. It actually, within 2 days before I left for my trip, I noticed the wound on him had changed drastically. Now they claim that the dogs will not eat that it's like got a bitter taste to it. I found that not to be true, but it's definitely a nice little extra thing in my first aid arsenal to have. It also worked really well on the hot spot Gypsy had, but I can say it stayed on him long enough before he decided to lick it all off. And it did help. I do eventually want to get other brands of Manuka honey to just keep on hand and try out, but for right now, until I use this tube up, this is what we've got. And it's currently what I'm using for his current wound that he got from Gypsy. And thankfully this wound wasn't as bad as the last one. I used some saline wash before I applied the silver honey to it, and it's been doing great the last couple of days. Now, one thing I can say about the saline wash, the spray version bottles, you have to be careful, because if you're spraying that directly into the wound, that can actually cause your dog more pain, because some of these like saline cans can have like really high pressure in them. I prefer the little saline vials. You know, again, warm water is perfectly fine to wash out the wound with, but sometimes, you know, in certain situations, grabbing like some saline, you know, wash is a quick thing to do, just to help get some of that bacteria and stuff out of there to prevent infection. Now, obviously, if your dog's wound is really large, you definitely should go to a veterinarian, you know, get some antibiotics just as a precaution. You know, you don't want to have infection happen. But again, you can do natural things like honey, and you can do things like coconut oil. Now, I know some people suggest to use apple cider vinegar as a natural wound treatment. I personally don't think that's a good idea. I know we use apple cider vinegar on ourselves a lot, you know, like to treat, you know, skin tags or things like that. That stuff burns a little bit, so I would never personally put apple cider vinegar in a dog wound, but that's just me. I would stick with things more like the honey and, you know, maybe even some aloe vera versus apple cider vinegar. And honestly, I've never used coconut oil on a wound. I've only used coconut oil for my dogs when I'm cooking for them. There are many antiseptic products you can get for your dog on the market right now, you know, and I know a lot of people still stick with, you know, things like Neosporin, which I know depending what vet and who you talk to, is kind of like a controversy thing. You know, half the people say don't ever use Neosporin on your dog because it can cause worse things and cause allergens. Other people say it's still good. If it's just plain Neosporin and it's like a small wound, I've definitely seen that help and work, and I've had veterinarians still suggest to use Neosporin, but it's just the plain one, the one that has like all the extra like pain reliever stuff in it. Sometimes I think you have to be careful with those because you don't know if that's safe for the dog or not, if I remember correctly. But you can also use things like Bactine as well for wound care. That's a safe product to use for dogs. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because he keeps trying to eat the carpet because there's crumbs in the carpet. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is hot spots as well. You know, hot spots, most of the hot spots I've ever had for my dogs, like I was able to just do a warm compress, keep it clean, and after a few days it goes away. With Gypsy, she has the worst yeasty feet, fungus feet, whatever you want to call it. Like, she's got the Frida smelling feet. Like, she really has issues with bacteria growing inside her paws. And she's the only cattle dog I've ever had that had issues like she does with her feet. But besides for the Silver Honey helping out on her last hot spot, one of the products which I've talked about, I think, in a previous video, when she had a hot spot so bad she was like really ripping open her foot, it was causing more of an infection, is this stuff. Can you see? How do you say it? Is it Oxys? Oxys 3. It's an antiseptic, antifungal mousse that makes me feel stupid that I can't pronounce. So, but it's this stuff. But it comes out like a mousse. You do not eat it. So it's a mousse like that you just rub into their paw pads. Do you remember that stuff, woo woo? But this stuff was actually really good. It cleared up a lot of her issues, especially I didn't bring paper towels in here. Woo woo, give me your foot. I have offended her. But I would recommend this stuff for like if you have more than just hot spots going on. If you've got like really itchy, stinky feet, this is something that's worth checking out. Also, just soaking their feet in Epsom salt, which I think I've mentioned before. But you have to make sure the Epsom salt is dissolved first. But I always recommend having some sort of first aid. Yeah, I know, you're such a good boy. A first aid kit or just stuff for first aid in a pantry or something for your dog. Definitely, like, you know, anti-stick gauze and, you know, the wrap stuff. What do you call it? Bandage wrap. That's suitable for dogs so it doesn't rip off their skin. Like, it sticks but it's not got the sticky stuff on it. If you don't want to use Neosporin or like anything like that, you can, you know, there's plenty of, you know, antiseptic ointments and washes. I think they even make like cutesy dog first aid kits now that probably has all that stuff in it. And it's going to be up to you if you want to do more natural products. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing natural remedies, but sometimes you just need that, you know, little boost of actual like medical stuff. What, sir? I don't have, it's mousse. Hi. Hi. Is that a high five? Thank you for the high five. But anyway, best thing, keep your dog's wounds cleaned. Clean. Like, I know, high five, but this has been like the most distracting video. I don't even think I said everything I wanted to say, but that's okay. We got some doggy cuteness like always. One more thing I forgot to mention about wound care is baking soda. And I've mentioned it before, but if you have a tiny cut or even if your dog's nail gets ripped and it's bleeding, to help stop the bleeding, grab baking soda. If you don't have any kind of septic powder, get baking soda. I have nothing, honey. I'm talking with my hands like always. But baking soda is another natural product you can like have in your arsenal. That's all I'm saying. All right. Seriously, dude, it's just my hand. You're so cute. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Just wanted to talk a little bit about wound care, and if you have any other suggestions, remember to leave comments down below. Not only helps other pet parents, but it might help me too, because the Manuka Honey, like, I never even heard or thought of it. So I really appreciate you guys suggesting that from before. Anyway, take care everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. So this has been bothering me since I recorded the video. So I went to the Googles, and I think it's pronounced, say I can't do it now, Duxo S3. So he's like, it doesn't matter, Mom. Get those cookies. I think you got cookie on your face. or mud, one of the two. How do you resist that face, guys? Come on. I mean, seriously. Or any of these faces. Look at them. All waiting patiently